Are you resistant to certain situations? Are you reluctant to be in some surroundings? According to chemistry, when atoms that have affinity towards other atoms, when they are placed in close proximity, they behave more as a wave than a particle. They are flexible and yielding. But the same atoms, when they are placed in proximity with other atoms that they do not have affinity with, they act as opposing forces where they become more solidified and unyielding. We as humans tend to react similarly. When we are in environments where we feel supported, where we know that people there think good of us, in those situations, we are also flexible. So if you are in a gathering where you feel supported and you know that everyone there um, thinks good of you, and let's say someone cuts you off in a conversation, will you be mad? Maybe for a second, but then you will have that instant reaction where you'll think, maybe they didn't even hear me. Or maybe they are so stressed right now that they didn't acknowledge or they couldn't understand that I was speaking. So you'll be kind. Um, and let's turn the situation around. Let's say you are in an environment where you feel um, not supported, where you feel people are hostile towards you. And the same thing happens, someone cuts you off. Will you be thinking on the same lines? No, you would be like, how dare they? Didn't they know I was speaking? How could they do this? They need to respect my boundaries. And this is a negative scenario. Let's take a positive one. So, in a, let's say, in a unsupported environment, someone gives you a compliment. Hey, that's a cute dress. Will you be accepting the compliment, or would you be like, what did they mean by that? Were they mocking me? Does the dress not look good on me? Is it the color? So we would think about all these scenarios in our head. And it is, and the person might be taunting you also. It might happen. But more often than not, it's the stories that govern us. We are very benevolent towards strangers. If you meet someone in a grocery store, in a supermarket, in a mall, or the person sitting next to you on a flight, we would be very kind towards them. If they share their story, we would not be judging them because we do not have that backstory. And I understand we should try to avoid hostile situations and unsupported environments as much as we can, but that's not always possible. There may be situations related to work or extended family gatherings or some acquaintances where even if we don't want to go wholeheartedly, we still have to, sometimes out of our commitments or being a part of the family and other scenarios. So next time when we are in these situations, let's see if we are resistant, because we are resistant to the situation that we are coming up with these um, stories that govern us. Should we allow the other person a chance? Yes, we should. Let's allow that grace to the other person. We are in the self help group, we are in the self improvement circles because we want to grow as conscious individuals. So if we keep coming up with this resistance and that governs our life, that drives how we behave, then this is not conscious living. So instead, when we feel that knee jerk response happening, let's take a step back and see whether it's coming from these old experience that we had with the person or these stories that we have, And let's behave accordingly. And some of the times it's not even the person, it might be a story that someone else told you. Maybe some loved one told you that one day they did not have a good experience when they were dealing with a person who was so and so. And that story is stuck in our head, and we project it on the person who is in front of us who may look similar. That's a complete bias. That's not fair to that person, and that's not good on our part if we want to be conscious individuals taking responsibility of our actions. And similarly, it goes for negative experience that we have had in the past, where um, a similar incident occurred, and we now project it to someone onto someone else who probably reminds us of that person. Again, not fair to that individual. So let's take a stab at where that resistance is popping from. If you're dealing with a person who hurt you in the past or who was negative to you, then of course, be have your guard up. Be conscious of how you let them talk to you or how you let them behave. Don't accept behavior which is not right for you, which does not um, align with your values. But coming up with these backstories and judging someone for something that they did not do is not fair. And to become a conscious person, or a person who has responsibility of their actions, who owns their actions, we need to be aware of these stories that run at the back of our minds, so that we are not projecting these biases on the people who are in front of us. Next time that resistance pops up, make sure you evaluate whether it's coming from the right place and be open to the situation instead of just going off of that backstory and then just shutting down and not taking stock of the situation.